Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I can get it. I can do a rap about Justin Flom, a freestyle.
Hang on, let me get my beatbox better then.
Yeah, because that was fly.
You want that beat?
Yeah, sure. Or slower so I can live. Got a slow rock. Yo, there's nothing wrong. Got an episode with Justin Flom. There's nothing wrong, but you know we're 32 episodes strong. You know I'm naughty. I'm going to his block potty. I'm going to see some magic from a Coca-Cola body and from a bottle. Changing all the colors. He was on a commercial like he's the guy and like no other. Got the Wizard Wars, brother. He's got the Wizard Wars, brother. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Gotta guess. Justin Flom. He's on Snapchat with a whack hat. Traveling around. You snap that? Yo, that was live. And a sick beat.
Thank you.
That was sick beat.
I did my best. And you know what else was live and like no other?
What?
Our episode with Justin Flom that we recorded.
It is unbreakable.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Damn it. Yeah. No, but it is a great episode because what I didn't realize that would happen but ended up morphing is we walked with Flom through every single media and social media channel that exists with his thoughts and ideas on them all. Like, I think that is an unprecedented thing to do with a magician online, let alone the guy who is killing it. And absolutely crushing it. And he actually talks quite a bit about the
behind the scenes, the ins and outs, the little.
That wasn't what I was going to say, but that's true. That's true.
But that's what he talks about.
I know. I was going to say the little Rick Lax conundrum is what I was going to say.
Oh yes.
He weighs in quite a bit on it, and we do too about some of our opinions on it, and when we're chatting about how to use Facebook. So Justin's a bright guy, and here is episode 32 with Justin Flom. Really cool episode, especially if you care at all about social media. Media.
Hello, welcome to Discourse in Magic. My name is Tyler.
My name is Jonah.
And we are here with a very special guest. Super excited. Been on the chopping block since day one. We finally got him. We are here with the one and only Justin Flom.
What's happening, guys? I am great. Doing fantastic. Thanks for chatting.
Well, we are very, very excited to have you, especially because of the topic at hand for this month. And the topic at hand is magic in media, which is really exciting because you have just been, owning that for a little while. And before we dive into it, let's just start where we always start. How did you get into magic? How did magic get into your life?
It was kind of a unique story in that my dad was a magician and my uncle was a magician. Really, magic was a part of my family's life before I was even a glimmer in my dad's eye. And so when I was born, I was really born into a family that already had a zigzag lady in their garage. So it was very easy for me to start jumping in and out of boxes and making knots vanish from silk handkerchiefs. And really, there's footage of me. In fact, we were going through it recently from 30 years ago, just being a little kid doing magic. And as I grew up, I really took ownership over it and decided to make it my own. It came naturally to me, the sleight of hand, especially because I started so young. So it became my thing. Even I was the oldest of 4 siblings. We all did it together. But because I took such ownership over it, it became my thing, more so than my little brothers and sister who were raised in the same magic family, but they don't do it today.
Wow. So you sort of took it from your family, like your dad and uncle and stuff like that.
Second generation magician, absolutely.
Wow. That's crazy. And it's
Third gen on the way, maybe.
That's
that's
exactly
actually
right.
a good point. You've got a baby on the way. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So babies are made when a dad and a mom love each other very much.
Exactly.
A little girl is on the way, doing about a little less than 4 weeks. So very soon. And I'd imagine that she will be in magic some way or another because of me, I'll be teaching her memorize deck before she can talk. I can't help it. She'll be the only 4-year-old on the playground eating fire. So there'll be some fun things to come, I'm sure. I haven't figured out exactly what it'll be, but it'll be something.
That's awesome. And it's almost a really, really good lead in to what we're about to talk about, which is your presence on media and social media. And the reason why it's such a good lead in is because we know that your wife is pregnant because on daily Snapchat, because you made a very clever magic video about it, because you've been very active. I mean, you're very active about sharing what your life is, both magic and not magic. So can you talk a little bit about your presence online in terms of how you're sharing what you've been up to?
So when I grew up watching, because my dad was a magician, I had access to all of the magic that had been on television from the 50s on. So I didn't grow up watching David Blaine. I grew up watching Doug Henning and watching specials of filmed at the Magic Castle and the Magical Land of Alakazam with Mark Wilson. These are names that most people don't know unless they're 40 years old or older, which is kind of crazy that I had that education. Before even David Copperfield's specials were around, I had the tapes of what was out before that. So I really like that sort of thing. So all of that growing up, the goal was always television because television equaled touring. You got your audience through television. There was really no other way to get a large audience. Well, then we come of age in this digital era.
The internet happened.
Where, and it changed everything. And I didn't even jump on it soon enough. I should have jumped on it 5 years, even 10 years earlier. But we didn't know. We had no idea that you could have a superstar celebrity birthed from YouTube. And that's exactly what Justin Bieber is. He is the first superstar celebrity birthed online. And that's quite something. So by the time I kind of realized it, it felt too late, but I was still an early adopter, even at that, to just take everything that I knew and put it online. Make my own TV show online, do my own content like it's a TV show online. So really, it's very interesting. Talking to you guys, you understand what Snapchat is and Instagram and YouTube,
100%.
and it even sounds foreign to you to even question doing something on those platforms. That would be weird. Why would you question that?
I was actually recently in a meeting about this subject, and we had an hour-long conversation about a person trying to explain why it was a little risky for us to spend time on Instagram stories. And I was like, why are we even conversing about this? Like, why are we even having a meeting? Like, what is even happening right now?
In the hour that you're having the meeting, you could have done 5 Instagram stories.
Exactly.
Now, the thing is, so when I did an interview at Magic Magazine, and I really like the people at Magic Magazine, rest in peace, what I think is so one of the guys there, the writer who wrote the story on me, he said, now, why are you putting your stuff online? Because then people will be able to steal it. They'll see your act, and then it's spent. It's done. You know, what are you doing this for? And I said, oh, well, actually, it's the opposite of that. I put these things online so that people know, oh, when somebody does water to Coca-Cola, that's Justin's bit. We know because 4 million people, 8 million, 7 million, whatever million people all saw Justin do that bit. So it almost puts your name on it. You have a time-stamped thing. But also, theft, to me, is not something I even like thinking about. If it's good, it will be stolen. That doesn't make it right. It's not right that things get stolen. It's just operate under the assumption that everything will be stolen. Because all of my idols have everything stolen. So I strive for people to steal from me. That's what I want. I don't, it sounds crazy. I don't like it, but I like what it communicates. If someone is stealing from me, it means that I'm doing something right. I'm not going to be friends with you if you steal from me, okay? Like, you're not going to be my friend, and that's not a way to...
There's people listening to this at home, and they're like, Justin says we can steal from him. He's going to like it.
You can steal from me, and that will mean that I'm happy because I'm doing stuff that is worth stealing. However,
but not happy
you don't
to
get
you.
to be my friend. Yeah, that's the rule.
Right.
So I did this interview for Magic, and they said, "Why are you doing YouTube?" And I said, "Well, it's because that's what is television right now. We don't have an Ed Sullivan show. This is what it is.
We've got a trending page."
Right. And the other reason behind putting everything online is I have a portfolio. It's a catalog, basically. So that when XYZ production company says, "Hey, we want to do this TV show. What would the first episode look like?" I can just say, well, you pick, do what you want. You go through the channel and just take what you want. All of it is television-ready magic that I've worked out, figured out the edit, the camera angles on, worked out the kinks for the most part. And also now I know what I'm going to do differently when we film those tricks again. So, and I saw Chris Angel do that with his first special into his series. His first incarnations of television appearances were all the same material. It was all covering him up with a trash can and him appearing on a roof. He did that like 3 times. He did a couple other levitation things a dozen times. It was just, he figured out, okay, we got it. Now when we do the next incarnation of it, we'll redo it and figure it out a little bit better. I'm doing the same thing on a different scale. Figure it out for YouTube in this block party or road trip or whatever I'm doing. And then when we do it for television, do it again, but figure out how to do it better.
I think, you mentioned that you were like behind the times with picking to sort of join the internet, but I think that you were ahead of the times for looking at your magic as TV first. Yeah. Because in today's day, having a good, always, but having a good show doesn't mean you have the promotion for your show, and doesn't mean, and to just say that like, the number one thing that you're looking for is to have TV looking ready content. And whether that means that you were wrong and it ends up on YouTube, or you were wrong and at the end of the day it was shot vertically instead of horizontally. You know what I mean? Like whatever the finer detail is, I think that people are more focused on, first of all, people are focused on learning 8 bajillion tricks, not even worried about putting together good magic. But then, people are only exclusively working on like having a good show. And I think that trying to find your place on the stage of video.
Yeah, so life is about balance. And the reason that I don't talk much about putting together a good show is because I already have a good show. I had a good show before I started doing the stuff online. It's a different muscle completely. The pacing that you get on stage versus the pacing that goes into a video on Facebook
are entirely different.
That's absolutely right. Facebook is even worse than YouTube, which is even worse than television. On television, they have to reach for a remote to change the channel. On YouTube, they've clicked your YouTube video. They're giving you a little bit of leniency.
Right.
On Facebook, they are scrolling, and they are all but keep going. You have to stop them with.
You have to stop them dead in their tracks.
Just tits, and they're like, "Oh, what did you say, tits?" and then you at least have their attention for another 2 seconds, but you got to constantly hold their attention.
Your 2 seconds buys the next 5, which buys you the next 10, correct. And then you got a minute.
Which is why Rick Lax is doing well, because that's how you write newspaper articles. Newspaper articles, you write a headline, which makes you read the first line, which makes you read the first paragraph, which makes you read the article. So he's a writer first. He's a journalist and a lawyer before he's a magician. And those skills gave him what it took to
That is extremely eye-opening.
Yeah.
Extremely.
And I mean, look, like it's no surprise. Like he's the numbers that he's reaching with the videos is because he's producing. You know, first of all, he's making it so that like he was one of the first people on Facebook to say like turn on the sound, put in your headphone.
Right.
He was one of the first people. Now every video that scrolls by is like listen up, turn the sound. What you're about to hear is
So what we saw, because I was really spending a lot of time with Ricky at the coffee shop while he was making the early stuff. And before Ricky started doing this, I was kind of the interactive magic guy. I was pushing for interactive magic on Wizard Wars. I did a couple interactive pieces on YouTube, and I created interactive magic with Ricky. And then Ricky took it to a whole new level with really understanding Facebook, where I did not like Facebook and reluctantly came back to Facebook after it, got bigger. It was kind of a balance thing. Ricky got into Facebook videos when my trick, Card Hit Wonder, went to 70 million. And I came back to Facebook daily, doing daily videos after Rick Lax was killing it. But Rick is now copied by BuzzFeed. And
like everyone. I know everyone.
Which is pretty crazy to see. To see that a magician actually influenced the algorithms at Facebook. Like you used to be able to like a video in the middle of it, and it would affect the algorithm. Well, Facebook actually took that away because of Rick Lax, because Rick Lax figured out how to hack the system. He would say, lock in your answer by hitting like. And what Facebook learned is, okay, we see what Rick is doing here. Let's remove that from the algorithm, because it looks as though at exactly 37 seconds, if everybody's hitting the like button, well, then the video is probably asking for it. So there's all these things that Ricky has been slowly figuring out. And for some reason, people seem to be slow. They seem to be dense. They think that he's begging for likes because he's got low self-worth, when actually it's just to get the video passed around. It's all algorithm based. 100%. If he doesn't, everything you see in his videos, as irritating as they are, and I say that to his face, I say these videos are irritating. He says,
I think a lot of magicians feel that way, but I think
but they're also freaking amazing in terms of like shareability and watchability for non-magicians, right?
They seem to be asking me, they don't understand why they're working. And they're working because you can watch them on mute. A lot of people watch videos on mute. They're working because they are magical when you don't see through them and when you experience the magic yourself. And they're working because they're eye-catching and they're asking people to share them. They're no different than a YouTuber who says at the end of his video, hey, please subscribe and share my video. No different than that. But anyway, all of that tangent just to say that web video, it's all about goals. So Ricky had a goal, which was, I want to be the most visible magician on Facebook. And his goal for that reason was to sell magic tricks. If he was the most visible magician on Facebook, then he'd be able to market his magic tricks on Penguin to more people. So it was all monetary based. It was all career based for him. I need eyeballs so that I can sell Penguin magic stuff.
Yeah.
And criticize that goal if you want. I think that's just fine.
Why?
Yeah, I think he slayed it. I think there's no question.
My goal has always been media magic equals touring. So the show for me has always been live endgame. It has to be, which is where I would say, some magicians have gotten tripped up in the past where they did such good magic on television that when you went to see their live show in Las Vegas and it doesn't match Chris Angel, you go, wait, what happened? I don't understand. In his TV show, he levitates everywhere, and now he doesn't. Now he doesn't levitate. Although he's got a levitation in the show finally, which is apparently spectacular. Haven't seen it yet.
Good. Yeah. Well, I definitely hear what you're saying, and I see a lot of that, and I think one of the most valuable things that you showed out of this is about how your representation on the media or on all the media is about, you know, the goals that you have for it. And I think that, like, it's very easy to just, you know, produce content, and what feels like, you know, like you make a video here, you make a photo here, you do this here, and then it's like, why aren't people following me? Like, why doesn't anybody care about what I'm doing? And it's because it's not directed, and it's because nobody can, you know, like, follow along with what's going on and what you're doing, and like ride with you to that goal.
So they say that the customer is always right, and I think that's true. I think for YouTube, internet, television, any of those things, the viewer is always right. And if something isn't getting passed around, it's not good. And it hurts sometimes because, you know, people, but this and that. No, if it's not getting passed around, it's not good. That's just it. If it's great, it will be found. Period. It has to be, because
that's the be all end all for virality. Is just like
good
quality content will get you there.
You don't create viral content. You create good content. Right. The Mentos Coca-Cola thing from 10 years ago that went viral, they sent that to one guy. They sent it to one person. That's it. They put it online. They sent it to one person, and that one person sent it to one. And of course, it went crazy because the Coca-Cola Mentos fountain crazy thing that ended up going to millions and millions, especially when millions and millions meant something. That was because people had to share it. They had to pass it on. Yeah. So for me, sometimes you get a lucky break from a thing, like when Magic for Dogs went viral. I don't even know the guy's name, but the guy who was just making biscuits disappear on a pole. My video, Magic Block Party with Water to Coke that opened it, was featured next to it. YouTube just saw in the algorithm these are similar. So I siphoned off 3 million views from that right away. And that's lucky.
My goodness.
But YouTube wouldn't do that unless the content was good and people were liking and commenting and engaging. Right. If it was bad content, Facebook and YouTube would realize this is bad content and demote it. So,
and the winner in the long run is for sure the one who's continuously producing reliable content, you know, like not the one who has a video who randomly spikes a couple million or something but has never done anything like that before. He's the one giving off video views to the ones who are slowly growing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, very much. The rule is don't stop swimming. Keep swimming, keep swimming. You stop and you're dead. So I feel horrible because I haven't done enough content this year. That's my thought. Now, I've done more content this year than most people have ever. You know, I did 50. I did 50 daily videos for 50 days in a row, in addition to whatever else I've been doing. But even at that, I go, that's not enough. I don't see enough Magic content in what I've produced this year. Now, this year was busy with a couple other things. I was touring more full time, doing my live show, and I did a Coca-Cola commercial. Both those things took a lot of time. Also, I'm having a baby. But for me, still weighing heavy on me is that I don't have a lot of new content to add to re-edit a best of montage sort of thing. So in that, I go, I've already failed this year. 2016 doesn't have a definitive magic trick like 2013 was Water to Coke. 2014 was probably my coin. It doesn't matter. But 2016 doesn't have a definitive trick creation for me. And that's the high standard that I set for myself. Most people don't think in terms of how many uploads did I have in 2016.
Right. Yeah, that's something that I've like both of us have heard a lot on this podcast for pretty much no matter what you're trying to, you know, pursue, whatever your endeavor is setting a goal and like wanting an outcome to happen, like something you want to achieve, right? So like you were mentioning Rick Lax just wanting a whole bunch of views, right? So and versus you trying to book more shows. What I want to know is, how do you set goals for collaboration? Because that's something that we heard a lot from Danny Fernandez, was that like the number one way is to grow yourself is to collab with other people. And you said that, you know, you were featured next to another Magic video and you got 3 million views for it. I saw, you know, you've had celebrities, you've done stuff with like Florida Georgia Line and stuff like that.
Right.
So
I had a YouTube management company, and they were trying to put together collaborations. And yeah, I've seen a little bit of Fernandez's work, and I think he does do a lot of good collabs and stuff. I love that. And here in Las Vegas, we've got a great Magic community of magicians, and I get to collab with Ryan and Amber Lynn, who were breakout stars from this season's America's Got Talent. Bizarro, who's killer. Rick Lax. I have these people just 5 minutes away from me at all times. That's incredible. However, I would put more important than collab just the initial starting point. Just starting. Just if you just start filming, just start shooting, just start doing whatever, because that's the first step. My first videos, I didn't collab with anybody. I was just on a ship somewhere and I needed to do Magic videos. So I started doing stuff, and they were bad. And you're going to start bad. They're going to start horrible, and you got to do them. You got to be bad, and you got to do a video that's a little less bad, and then a little less bad. And eventually your videos will be mediocre. Great.
Fine,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Once they get to mediocre, then eventually they get to be watchable, and then after, a little bit more, they get to be good. And that's the point. The point is you just got to start. So when you say collaboration, find people that you can be involved with, whether it be local magicians or local filmmakers or anybody, really, artists, that sort of thing. But more important than that is just starting, because the opportunities will come from there. Kaylin Morelli and Blake Voigt wouldn't have helped me out on my block party if I didn't already have a block party planned.
Right.
It was just the fact
That's a good point.
that I was doing these things that they said, well, I guess I'll come out and see what's up. And even though I would consider both those guys technically better than me at maybe sleight of hand, or technically better at building card gimmicks or something like that, they wanted to come out and see what I was doing, because I was doing something that they weren't doing. I was getting together 300 people and shooting something and that sort of thing. And guys like Kaylin, Blake, they're not stupid. They want to learn from what other people are doing too. I mean, they wanted to see, okay, what is a block? Blake in particular said this. He said, I want to see if the block party is either A, as fun as it looks on film, or B, not fun at all, but you're able to edit it like it looks amazing. And
they're both super valuable.
Yeah,
How do you throw an
either
awesome
of
party?
those.
How do you make a bad party look good?
Yeah, either of those things would be amazing. And we've had both. The 2013 block party was a bad party that we made look awesome. And then the 2014 one, they were all good parties that I don't think came out as well on tape, which is interesting. So yeah, we've had both.
Wow. So can we chat a little bit about, what the history of this block party is and why you did it, and sort of all that's come out of it? I mean,
Absolutely.
From our world, it's sort of the same idea as, like, Wes Barker recently chatted with us about one of the best ways to get yourself performance footage and, the best footage and the best theater is to rent out the best theater and get the best cameras and then put on the best show and then record all that footage.
Yeah.
And then you have it.
Wes
which
did,
kind of
Wes
seems
did
like
that show,
this is...
and he's got some amazing footage from that. And so in 2012, when I wanted to do... What I had a piece of material that I wanted to get on tape. It was just this stupid Facebook wall prediction thing. At the time, I thought it was earth-shattering and amazing. Now I look back and I go, it's fine. But I wanted to get footage of it. And what I really wanted was what Wes Barker got around the same time, which was a theater with people. And I wanted it to look like a David, whatever his name is, special and that sort of thing. And I couldn't afford that. I didn't have the money. I didn't know where I would get 600 people to fill up a venue. I didn't do the cameras, and it's more difficult to shoot that stage lighting. Gosh, it just seems so difficult.
It's a lot.
So I had to go within my skill set. I didn't want to reach above my pay grade. I didn't want to go above my skill set and drown.
Right.
I wanted to go, what am I capable of? Well, I was capable of throwing a party and filming the trick in my backyard and making that look really good. I knew that I could make that look good because it would be, it'd be DSLR camera. It'd be very colorful. I'd get people involved. We could make it look fun. And then I thought, you know what? I could get David Blaine has to shoot for a year to get lots of performances with different people. I bet I can knock it out in an afternoon, right? That was my totally arrogant, retarded thought, and I was half right. I was able to knock it out. I was able to knock out several performances in an afternoon and really put together what was like a half-hour street magic special, but it. Not near as many performances as I thought I would get. So bottom line was this. The reason I did the block party was, A, I couldn't afford a theater, so I came up with this by accident. And B, and this is important, I don't want to fight David Blaine on his own turf. His turf is pavement. Yeah. So you see any magician on pavement, that's David Blaine. Okay, you see him in a back alley, you see him at a storefront, you see him working for a cop, whatever. If he's on pavement, that's David Blaine. You're just doing David Blaine. However, David Blaine doesn't do a lot of stuff on grass. So if I can do everything on grass and use a lot more white chicks, then maybe I'll look different than David Blaine.
Oh my God, you're killing us.
And that was exactly what it was.
Fight David Blaine on my own grass. I love it.
I knew that I can't make my special or my YouTube videos look like a Jay-Z music video because David Blaine is Jay-Z. But I can be Carrie Underwood with a country music video in grassy fields. I can do that. So happy to be Carrie Underwood to Jay-Z any day.
That's awesome. On the note of sort of producing, by the way, we're peeing our pants. On the note of producing content that other people are not doing, let's dive into Snapchat. You are one of the few magicians on Snapchat, but also for a long time, you were just one of the few of many people's Snapchats that were real Snapchat content producers. Like Snapchat for a lot of people acts like, people upload one little clip, a photo a day to their story, nothing. But for a very long time, at least I know in my feed, there was only a couple of people like DJ Khaled,
Right.
you, a couple of other celebrities that were like actually regularly uploading content to Snapchat in knowledge that people are watching it. Now that number is going up, still little by little, but talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Why you use Snapchat.
It's going
what
up.
the story is.
The number of people using Snapchat is going up, but the interaction and my views are going down.
Because they just cut that automatic thing, right?
No, it has nothing. The automatic thing. My highest viewers was before the automatic thing. It has to do with competition, which is also why Facebook views for me have gone down. When I first started doing Facebook videos 2 years ago, around the time that Card Hit Wonder went crazy, nobody was doing videos on Facebook. People were thinking that YouTube was still a thing, which it wasn't. So now everyone's on Facebook doing videos on Facebook. So it's just so saturated.
Mm-hmm.
People are exhausted by content right now.
Yeah.
There's just so much content, especially with the election cycle currently.
Yeah.
We're just seeing it's just so many videos a day that I can't even watch a Rick Lax video because I've already watched 10 videos today. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I'm done. Well, on Snapchat, I was really early to Snapchat and the My Story thing, and I saw it as something. First of all, I figured out things that people weren't doing, adding music to it, really looking at it like an editing job. How can I edit this video within Snapchat?
Yeah.
And making the content interesting. It also helped that I was on tour at the time.
So you had easier content to produce than if you're sitting around.
Yeah. Kyle Marlette has complained to me. He's like, what do I do when I got a week at home and I live in Pahrump, Nevada in the middle of nowhere? I'm like, well, you're screwed. Whereas for me, I was doing a different arena every night with a giant country music band, and there were interesting facets of that, from what's the dressing room like? Ooh, I got a hoverboard. This is really new. Nobody has a hoverboard right now. What new magic tricks am I working on that don't have a place in a YouTube video, like Alan Wurs's key thing? And for me, it wasn't inspectable enough up close, didn't look good in person. I love the trick, made a great Snapchat trick, that sort of thing. So it was just figuring out the platform and getting to it first. I also was early on Vine, but never found traction on Vine for some reason. It could have something to do with people didn't understand the difference between camera trick vines and real magic trick vines.
Yeah.
Or it could have to be with the fact that I'm not black. And Vine definitely preferred some of the celebrities that made N-word jokes. Although that only lasted for a brief amount of time anyway. So,
and now Vine's gone, so.
Yeah, Vine is gone. We're actually sad about that. I was still on Vine consistently watching things, and I was very sad. Yeah, can you believe that? I was sad to see it go.
I can barely believe that. From how hip you are with social media, I can barely believe that.
But think about all the memes that came from Vine.
Yeah, a lot of them really are Vines because of the quickness, because of the...
I know Vine content producers who are still doing big things, but it's just they're in the low millions.
Well, you gotta look.
Yeah,
I mean, Logan Paul and Lele Pons are in the high million. Well, they're 10 million each, and they're both Vine stars. But they transitioned from Vine to Facebook and Instagram, which is very incredible to see. But Snapchat. And I had a meeting at Snapchat, so they gave me my follower number, which was interesting, and the views number.
Wow.
And I was able to see. I knew that I was getting 50,000 a day at one point, which is incredible.
Massive numbers.
But that's to see, the most valuable thing that Snapchat was for me, and this is the big secret. Snapchat caused Card Hit Wonder to go viral on Facebook. I was able to use Snapchat to trick the Facebook algorithm into thinking that people were finding this content organically.
Because you were asking them to like it or comment.
I was asking them through a contest, hey, go share this video and I'll send you a hat. Things, and I did it as a contest. So, everything was linking Snapchat to push people to the Facebook or Instagram, or I was Facebooking things with a Snapchat code at the end, things like that.
That's super interesting.
Well, because Snapchat is not a content for like sharing and for like finding new people. The only thing that it does, aside from being a day-to-day piece of value, is as an arrow, as for you to say, go here and do this, go here.
The
and
other
do
interesting
this,
thing from Snapchat, though, I got recognized in airports 10 times more from Snapchat than I did ever from Wizard Wars or television or Ellen.
That's crazy.
Very interesting. People would come up to me and say they follow me on Snapchat, not
you know what I think
got you on YouTube or things like that. It's the daily.
It's the daily. It's the being in your life, right? It's the seeing what you do all the time. Because on TV, you're just another person that was on TV, right? But if I'm like looking at you, being like, "What's Justin eating today?"
Right. There is that daily life thing is huge, and I really wanted to be the first one to bring daily vlogging to Facebook. I was the first to bring videos from YouTube back to Facebook as proof, with the millions of views that my early Facebook videos got, way more than I ever got on YouTube. But then to think that vlogging would work on Facebook was a massive failure for me. It was unfortunate. I did 50 days, which I thought was enough time to really give it a test. And I would have continued because if it was working. It was every night, was 2 hours of editing a night, and these were much in the style of Casey Neistat, famous vlogger, who was just basically vlogging but putting incredible edits into them.
Yeah.
It was not all magic based, much like my Snapchats weren't always magic based, or most times weren't magic based, and they just failed for some reason. And I know the reason. Vlogging is a YouTube thing because you have to be subscribed, not shared. Facebook is based off of sharing. People don't share other people's daily lives. I follow a couple vloggers, but I've never shared their content. I'll talk about them or something. I really like Casey Neistat. I like his style of editing and all that, even if I don't agree with everything that he says. But I've never shared a video of his. I'm just a subscriber. So that would mean that he would fail on Facebook. Whereas Ricky, it's only sharing. Rick Lax on Facebook is only sharing. That's the only reason he's successful.
And you can discover a video of Rick Lax's that was published in the early 2015, and you literally wouldn't know better because it's timeless, shareable content.
Right.
Like, it's not even him being like, "Hey, like this is vlog number like 385," and you're like, "Ah, crap, I missed the first 384. Like, I'm not gonna watch this." Instead, you're just like. He's just like, "Hey, you, stop there, watch this." You're like, "Okay, sure." You know what I mean? Like, there's no barrier of entry of being like, "Oh, I haven't been following this person. I don't know what they're really doing. Like, what do you mean they're on tour? Like, who is it?" You know what I mean? It's just like, very consumable.
I think on Snapchat, people were able to see, fun content every day, and they were able to come into that at almost any point. And enjoy and like that. So yeah, that was a big piece of the puzzle. And I got to figure out what's next now. That's the thing.
That was what I was going to ask you for the secret insider scoop, but it seems like
well, even when Snapchat was hitting, I was pushing other things, and we had Wizard Wars almost being done. As we almost had Wizard Wars going again.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're not giving up on that just yet.
Good.
But during the tour last year, we were working on it, and then stuff fell through and it tanked, which is unfortunate. So when you say what's next, I don't know, because I've got maybe 6 or 7 things up in the air. From television to publishing to web to virtual reality. And none of them might hit. All of them might hit. Who knows? There was 2 years ago when Penn and Teller were suddenly everywhere. They had car commercial.
Yeah.
They had a hunting show, I think, on Discovery or something like that. And they had Fool Us and Wizard Wars. And I feel like they were just in a room saying, well, surely not all of our shows will get picked up. Just throw it all against the wall. And then they just all got picked up.
Yeah.
They're like, never
That
mind,
was
they
just
will.
the year of Penn and Teller, and they were on Broadway. It was insane.
Yeah. So we sort of, I want to hit every medium on the head because I think that you've had a hand in all of them.
Sure.
So we mentioned Snapchat, mentioned YouTube, somehow mentioned Vine, mentioned Facebook. We
Didn't touch on Instagram.
We didn't touch on
Twitter.
Instagram. Let's do that right now, and then we're going to get to a little bit more into TV and a little bit into books, because I know that you've done a little bit about that. Let's talk about Instagram. I don't know, you're not blowing up on Instagram like you are on the other platforms, but I'd love to hear if you think anything about it, specifically about their introduction of stories, and I know you were vouching for a lot of changes in Snapchat that I think showed up in Instagram and showed up everywhere.
Yeah, I'm putting more eggs in the Instagram basket. Yesterday I did an Instagram story. I did it on Instagram, and I didn't even do it on Snapchat. Whereas before I was doing Snapchat stories and saving them and putting them on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as Instagram posts, I've not seen any magician nail it. Kaylin Morelli, who is great, should be getting. I don't know why he did Instagram videos for a little bit, because they'd get a couple thousand views tops, where it's just really difficult to share an Instagram video. It seems like Instagram is curated content of your brand that you want fans to see whenever you have it. That's at least what it feels like. So when the people that I follow, who I like, it's their photo shoots and their daily life, and basically it just makes me go, man, they're badass. Wow. So I don't.
It doesn't make you share.
Right, nothing you share, and I don't even double tap
get likes.
everything.
Yeah.
I double tap everything of John Mayer's, but other people who I like, Chris Pratt, it's just his daily life, and I go, oh, he's fishing today. So I don't know what's going to happen with Instagram. It will, as it gets more and more baked into Facebook, being that they're both owned by Mark Zuckerberg. We'll see what happens there. It is pretty silly when you look at 1,000 likes on Instagram, which is a lot, versus 1,000 likes on a Facebook post, which is not a lot.
Nothing.
At least for me and what I do on the platform.
Yeah. So let's get into now, although it's probably the most boring of the platforms before we get to TV and books, but let's talk about Twitter. It seems like Twitter, in terms of the hype and excitement of Twitter, is sort of dead, but Twitter being almost like this sort of public email thing is great. Like no longer can you build hundreds of thousands of followers by tweeting at people. I think that's kind of over.
Yeah.
But I think that for us, it's very funny. There's magicians who we've emailed who don't answer their emails to come on the podcast, but we tweet at them, and I guess because it's in the public eye, they're like, yeah, sure, I'll come on your podcast.
Yeah, it's the same way. I emailed and called Jim Steinmeier once to get the rights to an illusion, and I couldn't get a response, so I faxed him. A note, and he called me back. Why? Because he's like, oh my gosh, who's faxing me?
My dead machine in the corner of my room just started speaking.
Twitter is the same thing. Nobody's on Twitter. I really hope somebody kills it, because I think, for the most part, first of all, on the political side, Twitter's like pretty evil. It's hate mongering, trolling, evil. I'm on Twitter because there's certain pundits who I like to see what they say. So I've got a hidden little list of tweeters of people who I can see and keep updated on. But for the most part, if I Instagram something or Facebook something, I'll throw it up on Twitter. But gosh, I hope somebody kills that platform. I would just love to see it die. I'm okay with that.
I'm 100% with you. Right now, it's like... Right now, I like we use it to produce content, but by no means do I use it to browse content. Like, there's just so many better places that it's showing up right now that by no means, like, just honestly, like, by no means am I getting my information from Twitter in any light. But I will say it's one of the fastest growing of the platforms that we're on, and I think that it's just because it's kind of where people still communicate, like even though it's dead to, like, I think really the shareability and the virality that the other platforms have and that it used to have, like, I still think that a lot of, like, conversations get pushed through there. So alas, we have to keep it.
Yeah, I'm keeping it much the same.
A lot of musicians that still have a MySpace page, so
correct.
So let's move out of the hip social medias and into the more standard ones. Let's talk a little bit about Wizard Wars.
You have a big presence on Facts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Facts book. No, let's chat about Wizard Wars. It was fun again with Wizard Wars just because we've been following you for so long. We watched you be like, hey, really hoping that this thing becomes a real thing. Here's our little Wizard Wars. And then it was like, oh, there's a show on TV. It's going to be on TV.
Yeah.
We're like, have you seen Wizard Wars? I was like,
it went from the YouTube video to the pitching. And if people were following Rick Lax, he posted a video of us pitching the TV show at Spike and History and all these other networks that said no. So yeah, incredible to see it go from nothing to an actual series where we and I was and Ricky, who he really does like Penn and Teller, we were able to hire his heroes, which is pretty incredible. Awesome. That we gave them a job. It was wild. In hindsight, there's a lot of things we would have done differently. There was a lot of challenges to it. I guess hit me with a specific question about Wizard Wars, and I'll answer it, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about Wizard Wars, and I could almost guess the ones you're going to answer. Go for it. Or ask.
Well, the only one that I'm really wondering is because I have zero knowledge of the reach of it. And for me, it's such a great show for magicians because they're, like, living it. And it's also, like, an amazing show for lay people. But all the time people come up to me and say, have you heard of Penn and Teller Fool Us? Almost nobody has said to me, have you heard of Wizard Wars? Even though I think it's just as exciting, if not more exciting,
it's more engaging.
You get to actually see some of the behind the scenes.
So the big difference is we only did 2 episodes. Or sorry, we did I don't remember how many episodes, but we've done less episodes than Fool Us. Fool Us is on a network, and we were on cable. But with that being said. Our viewers, when we ended and went off the air, our viewer count was at the same point, even more on a lot of episodes, than Fool Us currently is. So it's almost, and we don't like that. That's more disappointing to us, that we were taken off the air and our ratings were good. The reason we got taken off the air, we just didn't get renewed. The reason we didn't get renewed was a change in management at Sci-Fi. They went through crazy things, and they lost SmackDown to USA, WWE. That was a huge thing. And they went way more scripted, way more magic-based, but in the drama realm with shows like The Magicians. Not Wizard Wars or things like Face Off or Jim Henson Studio, things like that. So all of those things meant that that our show goes away. New management, new direction, all of that. Even though it was successful, which was a bummer, but it was just starting to find an audience. Yeah.
Yeah, is that the hardest part of TV, is just like not having the creative freedom of YouTube, Facebook, all this stuff where it's just yours? Like, is it hard to give up part of your projects to the network heads?
Miserable. If you the worst, I'm in the middle of it right now. Hate it. Kill me. I hate it. It's the worst. I can't tell you. There's nothing worse than trying to collaborate with a television executive or a producer or a showrunner on Magic. And I became friends with all the producers of Wizard Wars, and I like them all as people. But even still, battle after battle over camera cuts and edits and this thing here and that thing there. It was so difficult that was just everything.
That's what we keep hearing from every magician who's worked on TV. Like, we just got back from Ottawa. We were talking with Eric Leclerc, who finished doing the YTV show Tricked, and he was like, just the stress that he was under. We're watching the show at his house, and I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, he did something where how did you do that? And he was like, I couldn't tell you. We just did so much shooting so quickly, and I have no idea. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean you have no idea?
Yeah, and I just got done. The reason I was actually late to hop on this call with you guys was I was out to eat with Adam Trent. Love that guy, and him and I were definitely commiserating together over,
good word,
the edit and not letting. Well, you're the talent, so we don't really want to let you in the edit room. Yes, we're the talent, but we're also the ones who created the freaking trick.
Content producer.
Yeah, so his comment was, they will edit it, and it will look worse than your YouTube video, and it will get less views than your YouTube video, but that's television. So I don't know. I don't know how to crack it. People like David Blaine, they get artistic freedom, but they also... Blaine doesn't have he said, I'll give you a...
He has pavement.
Well, he told ABC, I'm going to give you a special, and then he's already a year late on it. This was supposed to be a year ago that it came out. And so, but David is David, and he does whatever he wants, and waits until it's right, until he likes it, and he's in the edit room, and very little of what ABC. It's mostly David Blaine's brainchild. Same with Copperfield. Yeah. I don't know what it is for Michael Carbonaro. It looks like Carbonaro's doing some pretty good work, but I know
it actually looks pretty good. Yeah.
No, he's doing great work. I mean, the show is incredible. I don't know if he's having to fight any battles. I know one particular battle for Carbonaro. In the pilot, they said, we don't want to see a cockroach come out of an iPhone. That doesn't seem like a good trick. Well, Carbonaro did it anyway. He shot it, and of course that's the one that they used because he understood believability and all of these things that magicians understand. Yeah. We got it. And same thing, I hear Jerry Seinfeld. I'm a Jerry Seinfeld nut. And he talks about editing comedians in cars getting coffee. And he says that his ability as a performer is very important because he can sense attention span and where the edit needs to be and what's funny and what's not funny. So him as the talent is actually very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The overlap between those
of Louis C.K.'s show. He shot the entire first season without even showing the network what it was going to be about or who was going to be in it, and he's the director, writer, star, and it's you see when an artist has creative freedom and you're actually watching the brainchild of an artist versus what a network.
I don't want to be an artist who's complaining because that's not interesting. But eventually, you do want to figure out how can you get to the point that Louis is, or Jerry, or any of these other people, where they are trusted enough to just create the content and hand it over. Now, the other thing that Louis did that was so great is he cut out HBO, Netflix, NBC, whatever. He just said, I'm going to shoot a special. I'm going to spend $100,000, shoot a special, and I'm going to sell it for $5. This is now 5 years ago, but that was groundbreaking that he could do everything himself because the audience is there. So the goal...
Wes Barker did that recently with Vimeo, right?
Right. The goal at this point is get the audience. However you need to get the audience, because the audience means that you get to do anything. It could mean that you get to do videos if you want to do a series or a special or a movie, or it could mean the tour. So everything is how do you get the audience? And that's my concentration every single day. And it seems that television still equals an audience. I don't know what sort of viral success online. 1 million viewers on NBC is equal to probably 100 million viewers on Facebook.
For sure.
And that's insane. 1 billion people with a B, 1 billion people have seen Rick Lack's Find Your Shape on Facebook. Right?
Insane.
1 billion. But his phone isn't ringing with a TV show offer. Which
is also crazy.
He's getting...
that makes sense.
He's getting things, but it's a different... He's getting different things
a different world
than if 1 billion people watched you on NBC.
TV.
Right.
Which would never happen.
Yeah, so how the hell... I don't understand that thing yet where everyone is trying to navigate it. And the people who are stuck in traditional media will lose, but it's okay because they're going to die before they realize that they lost. Because the only people in traditional media are old.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing before we do a wrap up is I just want to chat about, because I think we've hit every other medium aside from the book, and you very recently have created a book for young magicians to explore magic. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Adventures of a Kid Magician, and my dad and I had this idea to create a storybook, but that would also act as a teaching magic book. It's a cool thought to have a magic trick in a chapter in story form. At the end of the chapter, you get to learn that trick. So I did a gig for Walmart a couple years ago. And they were like, hey, why don't you come over and look at our book publishing, whatever area. And they were like, hey, by the way, do you have a book that you want to sell us? And I pulled a pitch out of my rear end from this idea that my dad and I had talked about. But I was like, yeah, I do. It's this and this and this. And in fact, there's a girl magician at the end and she saves the day, and there's bullies and magic videos, and it combines with media, and you get to learn from me on video through password protected secret things. And they're like, cool, all right, we'll buy it. And I walked out of the room, and the guy who had brought me in was like, you just sold a book to Walmart, right? And I was like,
that's crazy.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
So that comes to be prepared. Also, of course, to help sell the book, I did magic for them. So I, put sugar inside of a dollar bill and did, gosh, I don't even know what other effect I would have done, but I definitely did sugar in a dollar bill. And what that means is I had to travel with a dollar bill that takes me 15 minutes to prepare and flash paper in my pocket. So how prepared are you? Well, you better be enough prepared that you've got crazy preparation chemical things in your pocket, because you're competing against...
How prepared are you? Prepared enough to walk around with chemicals.
That's right. And because you're going to be competing with people like me who just for the fun of it put rubber cement on just because maybe I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If I'll leave you with anything, I'd leave you with, I wear rubber cement in a special place. You guys know. I wear rubber cement like at least more than once a week, not knowing if I'm going to perform that or not. You understand?
Amazing.
Meaning,
Yeah,
just in case. Like if they ask, I'm going to freaking blow their mind. Juan Tamariz talked about the secret to magic is going into a restaurant and making sure that the 9 of diamonds is in every sugar packet in the restaurant, but having the strength to walk away if it doesn't present itself.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. To not force that trick and to walk out of that restaurant if they don't ask to see a magic. Yes, that is exactly right. And so, yeah, healed and sealed. There are so many healed and sealeds prepped somewhere in this country that I just never got to. That's the way it works. So
that's unreal. There's a famous quote, Louis Pasteur, that's luck favors the prepared.
Correct.
And I think that it is very telling at this moment. One of the last things that we do is we go around and we mention something that we took out of this episode, whether it was something that, you know, you can touch on something that you said that you think is particularly valuable, or maybe an idea or something that presented itself. So we're going to go one at a time. For me, my favorite idea in the whole thing is that you mentioned that you need to have goals and purposes for your content creation online. And I think that it's such a necessary thing to lock in place, because really I've felt both ends. I've felt myself putting content into the funnel that I know that I'm building for a certain purpose and watch it thrive. And I've also threw content out into the wind and hoped that it caught on and seen that it wasn't. So I'm definitely on board with the idea of approaching your content creation with a goal in mind and sort of tweaking along the way. Tyler, what about you?
I just can't believe that 1 billion people know that there's no gray elephants in Denmark.
Yeah.
But no, I sort of like what you said, but the opposite maybe. Like, I like the idea that you need a goal. That's something that has become abundantly clear just in your life, in my life. I mean, recently. But I like the idea of just doing it. Like that is something I hear a lot, but more and more successful people are saying, hey, I started out making subpar, then, mediocre, then all right, then great content. And that's such an awesome idea, because the only way you're going to get better is, by starting.
And mine is the same. It's the Shia LaBeouf video, Just Do It, is like the best piece of content. Like, when people say, how do I video edit? Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. I have the same I didn't have a teacher. I didn't have anything. I have the access to the exact same YouTube videos that you do. I didn't know anything about shooting video, lighting, editing, nothing. You just got to do it. You have no excuse to not know anything. You just have to do it. And the Kramer was on, Michael Richards was on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Seinfeld. And he said something. He bumped into somebody and they said, yeah, I'm thinking about being an actor. And he said, oh, you'll never do it. Oh my gosh, you'll never do it. If you're thinking about it, you will never do it. You just have to be like, yeah, I guess I'm moving to LA and being an actor. John Mayer said the same thing. You have to be this arrogant little prick that thinks, yeah, I'm good enough to move to Atlanta and start the music scene there. Otherwise, everyone else is at home thinking, someday I'll try that music thing out. Someday I'll start making those YouTube videos. They look like fun. Nope. You better put up a video today. I want to see a video today, because if you can't do a video on just 1 day's notice, then you're not going to do it. Because
that's a personal challenge from Justin.
Correct.
To everyone who's listening.
Because I'll do a magic trick before the end of the day. Lord knows Rick Lax has done 5 of them today. So, you're competing against people like us who are just our turnaround time is going to be so fast. And that's what you got to do. You can't stop. You just got to do it. Don't stop swimming.
That is unreal advice. And once again, a big congratulations on the upcoming child. Where should people find you and follow you?
So they can find me in Las Vegas. Don't follow me around Las Vegas, though. Follow me on the socials. Facebook is the place to see premium content new out there. Instagram is probably the place to see the daily stuff, to see what's happening. What new games do I have in my game room? Things like that. And there's a big coin-operated antique auction in January, and I'm going to be getting some crazy cool stuff. So check out the stuff on Instagram.
That is awesome. And it's just really funny. I was hoping to mention this, but I'll just squeeze it in at the end because I'm just remembering. The reason why you are on this podcast is because you Snapchatted, I'm looking to go on some Magic podcast. What do you guys think? And both me and Tyler responded to the Snapchat, and you responded to one of us, and now you're here.
Cool.
So just to say, so cool the way that the whole thing unfolds itself. And as much as we complain about the way that social media's turn, the ups and downs and the twists and the difficulties.
There's no
of
humanity
producing,
anymore.
As much as we all complain, it's awesome. I could not be more thankful of the way that social media is. I hope it keeps doing what it's doing, grows in the direction to remove and eliminate TV and all those giant content producers until we are the content producers ourselves, living it up. And I just wanted to give a thankful moment to social media for helping us all get to this moment.
Well, social media thanks you.
Well, yeah, you can be the voice of social media. Considering you spoke to Snapchats, that's pretty much that's the closest to being the voice of social media I've ever been.
It's depressing. Snapchat is already younger than me, and they look down on me because I'm old. So screw them. Oh my gosh.
Well,
good talk, you guys.
Thank you so much. That was a real episode and a half, and I love that it ended with sort of a really nice, positive kumbaya about producing content. I'm glad that it ended with a positive ideas and positive words about producing content, because, sometimes it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're intimidating to listen to somebody like Justin Flom, who talks in numbers like tens of thousands and millions and billions.
Yeah,
who uses those
the harsh
numbers.
realities of like the video you put out just got 200 views and you're excited about it, which I would be too. And then he's like, the 70 million views I got on the da 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 da. It sounds a little bit like, wow, that's kind of defeating, but it's the exact opposite. And Justin did a great job of making that clear that it's anyone's game now.
Yeah, exactly. It's anybody's game, and he was very, very encouraging of people to check it out. If you are a fan of what we do, I'm going to point out 2 resources for you. So the first is on our website. We have a page called A Magician's Social Media Guide, and I can give you the URL because that's what you like, which is discourseandmagic.com/social-media-guide-magicians. But really, you can just go to the website, discourseandmagic.com, and check it out. We walk you through sort of how to start. If you're trying to do a little bit more social media than you're doing right now, we're going to walk you through exactly how to do it, or at least my advice for how I've been doing it. The second place that I would love to point you is we're talking about media. We do this every couple episodes. Let's do a quick media rundown. Tyler, tell us, where are we?
Oh boy, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/discourse-in-magic. You can like our page and find content there. We are at discourseandmagic.com, where we have a blog and email list and all the episodes of the podcast. We are on iTunes, where you might be listening to this right now, and all other podcast hosting websites and all that fun stuff. We're on Twitter at Magic Discourse. We have Instagram, which is Discourse in Magic. YouTube, also just Discourse in Magic. What else? What am I missing?
Well, the only thing that you're missing, you're actually
the email.
not. You did,
the email?
You did everything. Yeah, you can email us at discourse@discourseandmagic.com if you want to say anything that you don't want to be on public social media. We will keep it a secret, or you can just say hello. But the one other thing is, right now, if you're listening to this and it is still the month of November and 2016, we have a huge contest. So our very good friend Chris Westfall has given us a copy of his DVD called Live at McSorley's. And the reason why it's a DVD and not just a download is because it also comes with a gimmick. And usually it's either just a Canadian gimmick or just an American gimmick. But this time, this one comes with a Canadian and an American. It's a coin, just so you know. And so that means if you live in North America, it doesn't matter where you live, you're going to get this and it will be fine. To win this contest, you have to do 3 things. Tyler, do you think you know what those 3 things are?
Oh, I think I do now.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke that won't make sense, but okay.
No, it will. It will. It's in an episode that they,
hopefully listen to.
Right. It's an episode that came out previously, but who knows if they made it to the last.
Yeah, this episode does
episode.
have the name Justin Flom in the title, so they might be first.
You're right.
First-timers.
It's an inside joke between us and the 4 or 5 fans that made it to the end of the last episode.
Yeah, exactly. But all you have to do to win this contest is make sure you join our newsletter if you haven't already. Hop on our Facebook page and like it. Share any bit of content from our website, from our Facebook page, from anything that we've done ever with the hashtag DIM contest. That's capital DIM for Discourse in Magic, and then the word contest. And you could win. You could really, really win. Not that many people are going to go through all those steps, even though they're just a few. So, just do it. Just do it. You could get some sick magic that not only do you get stuff that is, workable and usable in the restaurant, you get to see it all performed by our good friend Chris. So,
and
there you go.
There's a really good trick on that DVD called, oh gosh, I don't remember.
Closer? You talking about Closer?
Off by a Lot.
Off by a Lot. That's what it's called.
Which is same idea. But
same idea.
Great trick.
I do it in my walk around. Not gonna lie.
Great trick. So just so you know that it's a super valuable DVD and highly, highly recommended. Please do the contest, and you can find once again that email newsletter at discourseandmagic.com. And honestly, the newsletter is one of the best pieces of content that we create, and it's such a shame that it's private for people on the newsletter. But hop on, get part of this sort of exclusive club, because we tell you about everything that we're up to, and we honestly take your advice and your ideas of what to do on this podcast, and we implement them. So that's the place to get your voice heard. Anything else you want to tell them?
Keep it real, stay fresh, stay Gucci, keep doing magic, keep watching magic.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
You deserve a treat. Give yourself a treat. Treat yourself to something nice. Buy yourself an ice cream or something and be like, Discourse of Magic told me to. We're not going to pay for it or anything, but we
just keep us in your mind the next time you do something good for yourself.
Exactly. Next time you're
caused it.
Right. Next time you're doing anything positive, think, thank you, podcast, for helping set that up. And we'll be like, no problem. Just like us and rate us on iTunes.
Take care, everyone.
Later, fam.